You're watching E&G Spanish Tutorials! Hey everyone, it's E from E&G Spanish Tutorials. Today's lesson, go verbs. Now, what exactly are go verbs? Well, basically, they're verbs that have a yo form that ends with go. For example, tengo, vengo. Now, I had another video that went over tener and venir. The reason why I didn't want to pair it with the other go verbs you're going to learn, sure, these are go verbs, but it got kind of tricky with the stem changing and then um, basically just the stem changing. So I separated those. But look at it this way. You got the hard part out of the way if you've watched that video. If not, there's a link that's going to pop up now probably. So today we're going to go over 5 go verbs and 1 verb that you just need to know. It's not a go verb, but you should know it anyway. These are a lot easier because they do not have stem changes you have to worry about. The hard part of this is just memorizing them. The first verb we're going to look at is the verb hacer, which means to do or to make. Hacer. Now before we continue with the conjugation, let's go over some other uses of it. Hacer means to do or to make. However, it can also mean to go on a trip or to take a trip. These are idiomatic expressions we're going to go over. It could also mean to ask a question. Hacer una pregunta. Another one you might learn is hacer ejercicio, to do exercise. Now let's conjugate it. Hacer. This is a go verb, so the yo form ends in go. Yo hago. Tú haces. And like I said before, we don't have to worry about any stem changes. Él, ella, usted hace. Nosotros hacemos. And finally, ellos, ellas, and ustedes hacen. So once again, hacer. Yo hago, tú haces, él, ella, usted hace, nosotros hacemos, ellos, ellas, ustedes hacen. So to say I do exercise, I would say hago ejercicio. To say she is asking a question, I would say ella hace una pregunta. To say we are going on a trip, I would say hacemos un viaje. The next verb we'll look at is the verb poner. Poner usually means to put or to place. Now, once again, before we go through the conjugations, let's look at some other uses of poner. You could say poner la mesa, which means to set the table. You could say poner la tele, and that means to turn on the TV. You could also say something like poner el despertador, to turn on the alarm clock. Now let's conjugate. This is another go verb. Yo pongo. Tú pones. Él, ella, usted pone. Nosotros ponemos. And finally, ellos, ellas, ustedes ponen. Once again, yo pongo, tú pones, él, ella, usted pone, nosotros ponemos, ellos, ellas, ustedes ponen. How would you say I turn on the TV? Yo pongo la tele. How about we set the table? Nosotros ponemos la mesa. How about they set the alarm clock? Ellos or ellas ponen el despertador. Poner. Our next verb is salir, to leave. Some other uses for salir. Well, these are actually pretty easy. You can kind of figure these out. Salir con, to leave with or to go out with someone. Salir para, to leave for, usually in this case, a destination. Salir para Mexico, salir para Francia, any number of places. And then finally, salir bien or mal. Now, I'm sure there are many things you can use with salir, but we're just focusing on the ones that are presented in the textbook you're probably using. Salir bien or salir mal is for something to turn out well or badly or something like that, yeah. Salir, let's conjugate it. It's a go verb, so the yo form. Yo salgo. Tú sales. Él, ella, usted sale. Nosotros salimos. It's an IR verb. Ellos, ellas, ustedes salen. There's salir. Salgo, sales, sale, salimos, salen. How about the verb to bring? Traer, to bring. It's a go verb, so yo traigo. This one's a little different because you have the AI together. Just memorize it. Traigo. Tú traes, back to our normal endings. Él, ella, usted trae. Nosotros traemos. Ellos, ellas, ustedes traen. I don't really have any idiomatic expressions for this. I'm sure there are plenty of idiomatic expressions for all of these verbs, but like I said, I'm just focusing on the ones that you should know. Traigo, traes, trae, traemos, traen. Our next verb is to hear. Oír. This verb has an accent in the infinitive. This is the infinitive. It's the verb not conjugated. There's an accent there, don't forget that. Yo oigo, no accent. Tú, watch here. Oyes. Él, ella, usted oye. Nosotros oímos with an accent. Ellos, ellas, ustedes oyen. So I'm not going to get into too big of a detail concerning why these are spelled the way they are. You'll get to that eventually whenever you're in Spanish 10. What you need to know now is just memorize this. The infinitive and the nosotros form both have accents on the I. The yo form doesn't. All the rest have a Y instead of an I. And I have one little thing you can learn from oír. I'm sure maybe some of you have heard oye. Like, hey, like, listen, like, hey. I don't know. Oye, Juan. Hey, Juan. Or something like that. The last verb we'll be going over in this video is the verb to see. Ver. Ver is not a go verb, but in our book it's placed along with the go verbs as an extra verb that you should know. Ver, to see. Yo veo. Tú ves. Él, ella, usted ve. Nosotros vemos. Ellos, ellas, ustedes ven. Now, the hardest verbs that we just went over with today were probably ver and oír because they don't really have a specific pattern to them like all our other go verbs did. So I recommend you learn ver and oír. Just memorize them. I recommend you memorize these all, but those two especially. Alright, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.